Today's interview is with Bloodphemy, which is a Dutch death metal formation. They recently got an album out and we asked them a lot about it. About the concept, about what's next. Enjoy the interview.
Good evening and welcome. I want to first congratulate with the release of the new album. Can you tell me a little bit about this release?
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. We just had our release of Dawn of Malevolence, which for us is a milestone in the history of the band because it's a new lineup. We've had quite a bit of a style change over the last album already. I think we're pretty much perfected it right now. So for us, it's really exciting to see what people think of it and how they enjoy the new album. So yeah, really excited to finally unleash that upon the world.
Okay, nice. I saw that it is a concept album. Can you tell me a little bit how you came to that?
Yes. So we actually first tried our hands on a concept album with the last one, Blood Sacrifice. And when we started writing for this album, it really felt natural to take that one step further because we really like the idea of having these songs tie into a bigger story. Also, not just thematically, but also from the music. You can have like more atmosphere and sort of like write towards something that you want to, also touch upon with the music. So that was really something we set out to do. I think it worked really well. And I think it gives the album just a little bit more than just a bunch of random song titles or whatever. If it all ties together into a bigger story. So, yeah.
Okay. So can you tell me a little bit how you create the songs? Are you like having the story first and then come up with the songs? Or is it more...
It was a bit of a parallel thing because mainly Bart and Arjan were writing the songs, and also Robin contributed quite a lot to this album. And then I was working on the story, and I think it's Edwin our drummer, who first like got the concept of the story, and then I started writing it and building it out. When we decided on the amount of songs that we had, and we had some skeleton versions of the songs, then we started to decide which song will fit which part of the story best. So then we cut up the story into the number of songs that we had, and we started like very much writing towards the individual songs. And once we had that sort of like skeleton outline of the story tied to the songs, you can also like map them to the different sort of like vibe to the song. So a more darker part could go with a more darker sounding song. And then once we had that set up, just the writing of the actual lyrics was the next process to really tie it in with the song. And then you're writing the lyrics on top of an existing, a skeleton version of a song, but you know the structure and the atmosphere and the parts you want to sing to. So that's how that came to be. So it was very much a collaborative effort, if you will.
I found actually the whole story a bit dark.
Well, we are a death metal band, so...
Of course. True. I personally liked the guitars a lot on Incarcerate Recollections. Can you tell me a little bit about this track?
Yes, so I'm not entirely sure if that was Arjan's or more Bart. I thought it was Arjan mainly writing that song. Sorry, guys, if I'm wrong. But that was more of a song that immediately had more of a black metal vibe to it. So we also wanted to match the lyrics and the thematical part of the song to that specific sort of like vibe in the melodies and in the guitar parts. So I think that song came out quite different from the rest because of that, and I really like it for that because it's also in the middle of the album and really ties the thing together, in my opinion. And also I tried some different vocal styles on that to match it more with the music. And yeah, the guitar parts also are a little bit different and a bit more like black metal, stretched out and atmospheric.
Yeah, I quite agree. Then you follow it up quite next with the next track, and then when you go to the title track, it feels like a bit more catchy. It's catchy as far as it goes.
No, it's true. I think I know what you mean because it's actually the melody that's sort of like the lead melody that shows up a number of times during the song actually is a little bit more catchy. And in my opinion, that works really well because you have like the sort of like more like machine like brutal parts of the song, and then you sort of break it up with a little bit of melody. And I always believe like if you want to sound brutal, you cannot like continue pounding all like every single second because it will lose all meaning. And if you sort of break it up, give somebody a little bit breathing room, some melody, and then the next time you punch harder, the next punch you throw basically is a harder incoming because of the fact that you're doing like different things.
Yeah, that's true. Then I thought Crimson Redemption, which seems to me a song that kind of ties everything together in a sort of summary. How do you see that?
Well, it kind of does actually. I think the last bits of the album are really also meant to be sort of like, I wouldn't really call it a redemption story, but it is part of the sort of like the realization. And I encourage everybody to look up the lyrics and follow along when you read and listen to the album, because at the end there's sort of like this realization about what happened to the lead character, which is a boy who was very tormented in his youth, and sort of like starts to getting these flashbacks about what actually happened and why he is the way it is. And then obviously the crimson is a type of red color that refers to the blood, which is on one hand a reference to his blood ties to the parents that instigated the whole his whole suffering at the beginning, and then also towards the seek for vengeance, like the drawing of blood that he is about to to inflict.
Yeah, so there is blood after all. I noticed that of course, all the album titles have the blood in there, and in the first album there is something with the blood as well. But this one seemed to have something missing like that.
No, it's true. And also, I think like the Crimson Redemption, the part, there's definitely a reference to blood there.
Yeah.
We decided to, we thought maybe going with the title with blood in it again, but I thought at this point we all agreed that maybe it's time to move on from that. But then the Crimson Redemption part is like also his the part of the story where he truly like erupts in violence because of the realizations that he's had with his blood ties, and he explodes into the violence and finally manages to escape in leaving a trail of blood behind.
Yeah. Well, you released also a bit of a track by track about the stories of the songs. I saw that. I also, by listening to the album, have the feeling that the story is not completely finished yet.
That's true. It was it's kind of a deliberate choice, because I'm not saying there's gonna be like a like say Afternoon of Malevolence or something like that, which is a terrible title, obviously. But I'm not sure if we're going to follow up on this story specifically, but it's more like an open-ended story. So we're telling the origin story of somebody, and I think it's up to the listener to see where that goes next. And maybe we will follow up on it. I don't think we've really talked about it yet, but I'm not sure.
Good. Well, you already spoke a little bit about lineup changes. I thought, was it Michel returning to the band recently? Can you tell me a bit how this changed dynamics again?
Yes. So at some point, even before the release of this album, which we all worked very hard on, that was when Arjan, our guitar player, or the previous guitar player, was still in the band, and he told us that because of personal life changes, which are affecting him in a very positive way, I must say, but also work, he got some very nice opportunities. So in terms of time, he said, well, I'm not able to give the band the amount of time and attention that it needs. And I feel like I'm holding you guys back a little bit in terms of my commitment. And as much as we hated it at the moment, he decided to make a choice and pull a step back from Bloodphemy, which I thought was a shame, but also totally understand. I mean, there was stuff going on, which was very good for him, but it was a little bit hard to also keep a band at the same time. And his other band, Codex Mortis, is a little bit easier to maintain because it doesn't have the same demands in terms of playing live and things like that. So luckily, we found Michel willing to rejoin Bloodphemy. Actually, that was a really quick decision, and we had a few talks around it. And obviously, we all knew him. He's been in the band before and also in other bands with some of the guys. So it was a very natural fit for him just to continue. And he lives very close by to Bart. They've been buddies for a long time. So Bart was able to get him up to speed really quickly on his guitar parts. And he's been a very valuable band member ever since.
That's good to hear. Now the album is out. What do you plan to do? Like do a lot of shows in touring or?
Yes, we'd love to. We have some shows lined up for early next year. We're gonna do a few. Not really right now. We would have liked to do a release, but it wasn't possible due to logistical reasons. Do a release party, but we're gonna have some shows around the release in early January. So that's gonna be really awesome. We have a few festival shows coming up. One I think was recently announced at the Gotom Festival in Slovakia, which we've been before, which is an absolute blast. So we can't wait to go back there, and we will be adding some shows in the near future, I think. So we have quite some cool stuff lining up.
That's good to hear. Well, I think I've one last question that I asked pretty much everyone who's part of this Christmas series. Do you have a Christmas wish or some wisdom to share with the world?
Oh my God, some wisdom! Oh, you came to the wrong person. I only do bad advice mainly, but I don't know. Christmas, I don't really celebrate Christmas that often. It's more like a boring time when everybody's got shit to do, and it's hard to meet up with your mates. But I think, well, I don't really share any like Christmas wisdoms. I hope that everybody's just gonna, there's a lot of stuff going on right now in the world. I hope we get our shit sorted and can go back to enjoying things like good concerts and metal. And let's have metal unite us and not divide us, I would say.
Yeah, that are some really nice words. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.